Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Lam, Vice President of Marketing here at Miele. Welcome, bienvenue, willkommen. Many of you are at home with your families during these very unique times that we're all facing. But we also want to make sure that we're here for you, our customers, to answer questions about products that you own that are already in your home, of products that you're actually considering of buying, and many of you have questions about the services that we're continuing to offer during these times that we all live in. Welcome to Miele Live. We're here to actually provide you information across various product categories that we offer, from our dishwashers, which we talked about actually in a session this morning, our laundry systems to look after your clothes, floor care as we're heading into spring cleaning, and various cooking products. Pour ceux d'entre vous qui ont demandé pour des sessions en français, on travaille actuellement d'avoir des sessions dans les semaines qui viennent. Miele Live is fully interactive, and it really is your opportunity to ask our product experts questions in real time. If you're logged into your YouTube account, you can leave a comment there, and we'll make sure we take as many questions as we can during the session. If you're watching on mielelive.ca, you can leave your questions in the comment box on that page as well. We're going to cover today sometimes an underlooked product category, but a very important one if you love to cook. We're actually going to talk about Miele and our ventilation products for cooking. So with me today this afternoon is Mike, our product expert, and Mike is a wealth of knowledge in the area of cooking, but also Mike specifically on ventilation. So I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thank you, Kelly. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Kelly mentioned, please feel free to interact with us via the chat. So please, we're looking forward to some questions, especially on this topic. Ventilation hoods, as Kelly mentioned, are often a category by which people don't really pay a lot of attention to. It's oftentimes an afterthought in kitchen design. I want to propose the following, that on top of every good sundae, there's an amazing cherry. And so this would be the cherry on top of the design in your kitchen. Miele Hood fans strike the perfect balance between performance, design, quality, and efficiency. And really, when it comes to a dream kitchen, are we really going to leave to chance the important work that is left to the ventilation hood in a kitchen? Why is that important? A hood essentially is there to sometimes make a statement, but it's there at the end of the day to ensure that the environment you and your family are habitating in is a comfortable one. So extraction and throughput, as well as cleaning the air you actively are living in, this is the job of the modern day hood fan. So Miele is going to have you covered when it comes to a beautiful looking hood fan. We'll go over a bunch of our different options in our lineup, but we also do it by striking the perfect balance between sound emissions, air throughput, cleanability, and performance. And we'll talk about more of that in a minute.
So Mike, I think there's that balance, as you mentioned, between performance, design, features. Maybe can we start off with design? Because I think as consumers, it's a bit of, it is such an important piece in the kitchen, but it's actually a hard decision to arrive at is which one's right for me. So maybe we can start off by one of the elements you talked about, which is design at the end of the day, and the statement in the house.
Yeah, so there's a couple of factors at play when it comes to choosing your hood fan. The design in your overall kitchen is going to be perhaps the number one criteria by which you select or go down the path of a hood fan purchase. So if you're, for example, arranging your kitchen in an island where you're going to have a cooking surface facing maybe an open concept living space, a hood fan in an island configuration is going to be the way that you decide to go forward. We have a number of different island hood fans on offer. And with really cool and unique features, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But from a design perspective, the island option is a good one. But let's face it, not everybody puts a cooking surface on an island, therefore requiring an island hood fan. Oftentimes, the cooking surface is up against the wall, and so therefore, all of our island hood fans have virtually a compatible model in a wall version. So we have chimney style or wall hood fans that mimic the design lines of a lot of our island hood fans. And so this is a very common type of application for hood fan. You have some really clean contemporary lines that are quite timeless. As you know, all Miele appliances are built to last 20 years. And so therefore, the design needs to be compatible with not only today's tastes, but perhaps what tastes will be like in 2 decades. As a statement piece in your kitchen, it's important to make sure that you're not putting something that's going to be super contemporary that may not look relevant in perhaps year 11 or year 12. So you'll find that with the design perspective, all Miele hood fans look good now, but they're pretty timeless in their design execution. Now let's say we've looked at island fans and we've looked at wall hood fans, but oftentimes you don't want your hood to make a statement. You want your hood to be silent but effective and hidden away when not in use. You want perhaps your millwork to speak in your kitchen and be the star of the show. So in those cases, we have options that are built in. For example, we have a hood fan here that really, when not in use, doesn't look like much, but with its tilt-out capability, you have the option to obviously integrate your hood completely and automatically start it just by tilting it out. Really good option when you're integrating or building in your hood fan. Looks amazing in a clean, contemporary kitchen, and then when you're done, close it up, and really, do you have a hood fan? You'd be hard-pressed to find one in the kitchen. In addition to the tilt-out hood fans, we also have extractor models that are visible only if you were to bend over and perhaps look up at it. Now, these are great venting options, but they are seamless in its design, very few moving parts, obviously. Controls up the right-hand side. So if I want to turn the lights on, at a press of a button, control the variable speeds. This is a great model as well if you're looking, again, for that built-in look, that integrated look in your kitchen. But that's not all. We have more options in the integrated or built-in category of hood fans. We also have telescoping visor-style hood fans that, when in use, will obviously telescope outwards, providing you with excellent capture space over the hood fan. And it's important that when you're selecting your hood fan, that you also keep in mind you need to plan what kind of surface you're cooking with down below. Because essentially this is a marriage. You have a partnership happening between appliances, and so you need to make sure that the hood over top is compatible with the cooking surface down below. If I had to encapsulate for you what is compatible with what, I can be rest assured that all our electric, induction, and gas cooktops are compatible with our hood fans that we design and build. Some of them work obviously with an added degree of features and benefits, for example with Connectivity 2.0, where with our induction cooktops, you can actually have your cooktop communicate with your surface, thereby eliminating the need to actually reach up and turn on your hood fan. It's all controlled from your cooktop. So as soon as you turn on your induction surface, your hood fan will detect exactly the power level that you're using, how many burners on, will turn the lights on the hood top, on the hood above, and essentially eliminate that need for that extra step in the kitchen, providing the ultimate as far as convenience.
So Mike, when we talk about exactly what you said, that partnership between the cooking surface and the ventilation surface, I think one topic that we won't be covering necessarily today is our range tops and range hood fans, a different line to some degree. Why is that? And could any of that be compatible with what you're going to cover today?
That's an excellent question. All the hoods and cooktops we're talking about today are outside of our family of range product. Now, if you'll remember, our range product happens to be most of the time equipped with large capacity, high output burners. And so therefore, when you're looking at a range with a gas cooking surface, you're left with our range family of options, both on our insert side and also our range hood side. So we have options to have you basically covered on all of our range product, and also in the range family with induction and electric options. Any of the hoods we look at here today, this afternoon, are compatible with any of these hood fans. It's when you go with our range product on the gas cooking surface side that we would ask that you venture off and actually look at our range hoods. Now, our range hoods, they're a category in and of themselves, but they're certainly higher output and a slightly different design when it comes to grease catcher and filtering air through the kitchen.
Well, I think with the amount of power also coming from the range, as you mentioned, it impacts that.
Yeah, so you have a baffle filter system or approach versus our 10-ply stainless filter that we have in all the hood fans we're looking at today.
So Mike, I know one challenge sometimes with island hoods, because people love island hoods, but it creates some visual barriers in some cases, and especially as people have more open spaces. What options do we provide customers there with in regards to island hoods?
Well, conveniently, we're standing in front of one of these hoods that hits that nail right on the head. And that is a person of height, such as myself, cooking over a surface like this in what may be a simulated island configuration. But at the end of the cooking proceedings for that evening, if, for example, you still want to now open up the sight lines to an open living concept, we have a hood in motion, or a couple of hoods in motion, and I'll explain to you what those are in a minute. But this is our DA424V. This hood is capable of a 12-inch variation in height. And so it's a motorized canopy that, for the purposes of this demonstration, enable now the user in the island to look out and maybe see and speak to their guests with really minimal ease. And it's a pretty cool emotional reaction from your guests as well when you are able to lift your hood out of the way. Now, you want to lower it, of course, when you're cooking, because you maximize the extraction of heat, vapors, smells, odors from your cooking surface. But when you're done, why not raise it out of the way so that your living space becomes instantly more livable?
Mike, quick question there. So you talked about obviously connectivity 2.0 with our induction cooktops in the ventilation hood and that pairing arguably of those two different appliances. Would that work here as an example where, you know, if I need to lower it because I'm starting to cook, does it have that same capability as connectivity 2.0?
So I'm trying to answer your question. Connectivity 2.0 is basically our proprietary name by which we are able to connect a lot of our hood fans with the cooking surface, but only if the cooking surface is one of our induction cooking surfaces. And we have 4 different styles. They're all compatible with our connectivity 2.0 hoods, and not all our hoods are connectivity 2.0. So just keep that in mind. And they basically pair just like your phone would to a Bluetooth speaker. It's on an RF frequency, it's not on Bluetooth, but essentially you're able to have your cooktop, not gas, induction only, and connect with your hood fan over top.
Okay.
Another hood fan I want to show you that is really popular for island applications, and that I also mentioned as being a hood in motion, is Downdraft. Now, if you've ever gone hood fan shopping, you may or may not have seen this particular style of hood fan. That's because it's not typically referred to as a hood. It's more what they call a downdraft because of the physical approach to extraction here, being from the back of the cooking surface versus being over top. Now, this is great in islands as well. The 424 with its 12-inch lift, really nice. but there's nothing like having really tall ceilings and not having a solution for a vent in your home to extract that dirty air and clean your grease, etc. So Downdraft meets that solution. You have a great solution to an island hood fan application, and for especially tall ceilings or for those amazing sightlines in your kitchen, this is a great option. It's got the highest lift in the industry from the cooking surface, providing you maximum extraction in this type of format, and really beautiful fleet design meant to integrate seamlessly into any Miele kitchen. You see the sensor key bank along the top with its power button, speed control, run-on timer, charcoal filter indicator, indicator. Really good kind of integration with the entire Miele lineup.
Yeah, so you mentioned fleet design, and you can certainly see it in the Downdraft, where there's a lot of similarities from the actual icons being used with our other appliances that we have. So there's that design, and I think if we move down a little bit here, you also see the fleet design, Mike, on that one.
Yeah, so this is a really good selling hood for us as well. It comes in an island version as well as in a wall version. This hood comes in varying widths on the wall side, but just keep in mind, again, those accents are very reminiscent of the Miele lineup. Classic, timeless design, but also very much reminiscent of a lot of our current generation cooking product, with this beautiful sensor key bank, easy to use controls that are basically touch sensors. And just if we're going to look at this control panel, a lot of the main features on a Miele hood fan are found here on this particular model. So you go left to right, you would turn on your hood if you need your lights. You can control the LED lights in the hood themselves via this sensor right here. And then it's a matter of selecting your fan speed. And just keep in mind, air throughput here, we're talking about balance. It would be very easy to build a very big fan that extracts a lot of air from your home. But Miele is trying to achieve the ultimate imbalance when it comes to air throughput, sound emissions, and environment in your home. So even at a 1, we're in an application here that's really venting into the ceiling. So it's not even really a typical application. It's noisier than it would be in a home, certainly. And you can see that at a 1, we're moving air, but it's still a very livable space. Mm-hmm. If I was, for example, frying dumplings on this cooking surface, I needed more air throughput because I have more grease or vapors coming off of my surface. At a touch of a button, again, we increase the air throughput, and this is not indicative or typical of an installation in a home because it's really coming up into our ceiling and then coming back down. And a vented application, this hood would run that to the outdoors. But there are sound deadening materials that are being used inside of the hood so that the motor is actually encased in sound deadening material. And so the air that you hear is a lot of it that's happening up in through the ceiling in this particular application. Now, that's the 4 power settings that are typical in a Miele hood fan, starting from 1 right up to IS, which people sometimes don't know. IS stands for the intensive setting or boost function. There's also a run-on timer. So if I'm done cooking and I want to head to the table to be with my guests, I can select anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes as additional run-on time. And then we have filter indicators that remind us when it's time to maybe do some maintenance to our hood fan. Now, because we have a filtration system, it's important that you, from time to time, are reminded to clean your filters. And we would do that quite simply in a Miele hood fan. In this particular hood, we have 3 different and separate filters. They unclasp quite easily, and they're fall-proof. They have a hook that basically means that when you unlatch them, they will not or should not fall, and then can be easily unhooked from the hinge. And then we have a beautiful stainless steel designed 10-layer ply metal filter. Now the great thing about these filters is that, number one, they capture about 95% of the grease that comes through here. So they're great at separating the air from grease. Now once the grease is embedded in this mesh filter, how do we clean it? This is where the magic of a Miele dishwasher comes in handy, because you can place these in your Miele dishwasher, and essentially over time you will not discolor, and you'll be able to remove and rejuvenate these filters, and they're ready for another 6 months of average use. The more frequent you clean your filters, obviously the more grease pickup you're going to get, and sometimes the better the results you're obviously going to see, but it always really depends on the kind of use in your home.
So Mike, how would I know when I need to change the filter?
Well, number one, some of our hoods have reminders. So when a certain number of operating hours elapses, you're going to have a filter indicator go off. That can be easily reset, obviously, when you clean them, but it's not a filter that's going to be hard to reset, and you're never going to have just press and hold. You can reset your indicator light, but also they're so easy to remove. Even without the indicator lights, they're quite simple to get at, and I would recommend regular intervals of 3 to 6 months to clean, and really it's a cycle in your dishwasher, so it's super simple. The other thing that we would recommend from a maintenance perspective is the removal, obviously, and cleaning of these filters on a regular basis. But also, one of the other steps that Miele has achieved with the design of its hood fans is this interior clean cover. So there's no exposed wiring or motors or fan blades. And again, I remind our viewers that this hood fan is on and is throughputing air on a level 1. So there's that. But the clean cover itself protects the motor and housing of grease and is quite simple to wipe down with a cloth and some mild detergent to clean at. So it's very simple from a maintenance perspective to get at these surfaces.
And there's really no sharp edges in there.
No wires, no exposed motors, like I said. And so very simple to maintain on an ongoing basis. We haven't really talked about it, but most of the applications in North America demand vented options, meaning you're going to take your hood fan and you're going to run it through an exterior wall in your kitchen to the outside. And that is essentially how most North American kitchens approach venting. Now, that's not always possible.
And that's one question we have actually from one of our viewers right now, Martha. So Martha has a question is, what if I can't vent to the outside, what options do I have?
Yeah, so this is, Martha, a quite common instance, especially in condominiums or in second kitchens where an access to an exterior wall is tough through finished ceilings, etc. But Miele is proficient in the area of recirculating hood fans. What does that mean? That means that in behind these grease capture filters, oftentimes our hoods are compatible with accessory called an active charcoal filter. So in behind these grease filters, you would place charcoal filters. Now, why is charcoal going into my hood fan? Well, it's a great material at capturing odors and moisture. And so this then cleans the air an added step. So you have 10 layers of metal grease capture here. And then you have activated charcoal filter capturing additional odors and perhaps moisture. And then the hood will transport that air up to a grate system, will then recirculate or return air into your home that's been essentially cleaned. So you can purchase those charcoal filters through us, obviously, as accessories, and also the indicator will work with that charcoal filter to remind you. We say on average those filters should be changed roughly about every year.
So Mike, on that note, a similar question or related question, Gia from Vancouver. Good afternoon, Gia. I think it's early afternoon for you guys out there in Vancouver. Can I buy the replacement filters, so not the active charcoal filters, but the filters as such?
So the filters here should last the lifetime of your hood fan. There should be no reason to have to purchase them. But let's say you're a power user and you have a set in your dishwasher and you want to rotate them quite quickly, you can have an extra set at hand. These are totally available through our parts department for purchase above and beyond the purchase of the actual hood. But they're really robust, great grease capture, and so they should, again, last the lifetime of the actual hood fans.
So Gia, hopefully on that note, so if you are interested or need to buy replacements, you can right now contact our contact center that would be able to help you with that purchase. You can utilize our new service which we're offering, which is a personalized telephone product consultation. And our consultant there, our product expert there, can answer any questions you have, figure out which is the right filter you need, and actually place the order for you there. So there are different options if you want to go ahead and buy those replacement filters with us.
Good.
Mike, another question going back is, often you talked about how the ventilation hood and the cooktop really work as a system together, as a pairing together. Gia has another question, a very good question, is how big actually should my hood fan be?
I'm sorry, actually I didn't answer this one earlier, Gia, so thanks for asking the question. It's so important when you're just getting back to that hood top marriage with a hood fan. It's important that your hood fan be at least as wide as the cooking surface down below. It's okay to go larger on a width point of view from the cooking surface down below. So if you have a 30-inch gas cooktop, then we would recommend at least a 30-inch wide or 90 centimeter hood fan over top, and never smaller. And there are obviously thermodynamic reasons for that, and so that maximizes the capture rate over your cooking surface. So again, the rule of thumb here is that your cooking surface should never be wider than the hood fan over top of it. So important to marry those two up. If you were really interested in thermodynamics in a gas surface, because it is what we call a hot surface, the vapor trail from cooking pots on a hot surface like gas, you tend to have a candling effect. So if you were really stuck, you could go a little bit smaller, believe it or not, with a gas cooktop. An induction cooktop, the vapor trail, or an electric cooktop, because they're what we refer to as cooler surfaces, the vapor trail off those types of pots tends to billow out. So we would recommend with induction or electric, you even go wider. But a good rule of thumb is, like I said, same or bigger hood fan as far as width goes.
So hopefully, Gia, that was actually a really good question that we didn't answer earlier, but thanks for asking that. Mike, we have another question from one of our loyal viewers, Martha, who follows us all the time. So thanks for following us on Miele Live. How high should the ventilation be above the cooktop and cooking surface? Again, back to your whole thing is they really, I think some of these questions really demonstrate how important a ventilation hood is and not just the cooking surface, and gets overlooked sometimes. But so what's the height requirement?
Okay, so this one is it depends on what's happening with the cooking surface. And that will basically determine how high my hood fan is. And for every cooktop we manufacture, there is a standard guideline for the height from the surface that the hood should be placed at. Keep in mind with gas, it's always going to be a little bit further away than you would with electric or induction. Again, because of the heat coming off of gas burners, there's a lot more heat coming off of here. So therefore we would say 30 inches for gas, but you can get lower with our induction and our electric cooktops, sometimes as low as 24 inches. So just keep that in mind, but always refer back to the instruction manual and installation guidelines for your gas cooktop or your electric or induction cooktop as well. So just keep that in mind. It's very particular to whatever surface you have.
That's great. Thanks, Martha, for that question. Mike, to summarize then, I think it was a great overview, but if you're helping a customer, just to summarize, what are the steps to really determining, again, the right hood for me as a customer?
So it's a conversation or a dialogue that has to take place, but it starts with what's going on in your kitchen. What are your design limitations? Or what is your vision for your kitchen? What do you want it to look like? Do you want your hood to make a statement? Do you want it to be the focal point for your kitchen? If so, we got options, Island hood fans, really great options with glass and stainless steel. So if you want it to make a statement, then we have that particular hood fan. Now, if you're also looking for an option that hides into your kitchen or integrates, just does a really good job at ventilation, then we have that option too. But I would say the number one thing is what kind of design do you have in your kitchen? And then we would marry that up with one of a number of our different options.
I think one conversation we often have with customers also in regards to ventilation is the type of cooking that they actually do, per se. How does that play into, and how would you advise a customer on, I would do a lot of wok cooking, or, I deep fry. How does that impact their decision on the type of ventilation hood that they would choose?
Yeah, so when we're looking at that, our hood fans, generally in our category of cooktops and hood fans, they run the gamut in cooking styles. So if you are doing wok cooking, absolutely, our hood fans are going to be able to meet your needs. The one caveat to that, I would say, is if you have really high output, maybe a different name brand, cooking surface, or even our range product, that you stay away from this type of filtration system, and that you would then migrate or graduate over to our range style. But certainly with even a 5-burner 36-inch gas cooktop with all 5 burners on at the same time, including the wok burner with high output, you're going to be able to extract, especially with intensive setting, and meet anyone's needs in this particular category.
Great. Well, thanks, Mike, for a really informative session. Hopefully we've been able to answer some of the questions that you've all sent through. Again, what we aren't able to answer on air right now, we will leave an answer for you in the comment section, or if your question requires a bit more of a detailed response, we will email you that response. So we'll be sure to get to everybody's questions throughout the day. Mike, maybe just to wrap up, if you're right now looking for a Miele kitchen and want to include a Miele ventilation hood, what promotions or what options do we give customers right now?
So currently we have our complete cooking program, and the ventilation option, basically by opting into Miele ventilation in our complete cooking program, you afford yourselves an additional 2.5% in savings on your complete cooking selection. So the complete cooking program starts with 3 cooking pieces. If you add a hood fan, you afford an additional 2.5% in savings. And then, of course, you can get up to 10% by adding a refrigeration piece to that selection, saving yourself 10% off of all the cooking product and the refrigeration. So oftentimes this promotion is a great kind of entry point for people to start thinking about Miele ventilation as an option, and bringing it into their homes, and obviously taking advantage of all these cool features and benefits.
But I think, after today's session, I think you've really highlighted the importance for customers in designing their kitchen, that really don't forget about the ventilation piece, because it plays such a vital piece in the overall aspect of cooking itself. So I think hopefully our viewers gained a better understanding of, again, the importance of this piece that sometimes gets overlooked in kitchen design. So
yeah, and all I'll say to that, Kelly, is we pride ourselves in at Miele in ventilation as an option in the kitchen. They are certainly not afterthoughts in the manufacturing process.
Absolutely.
We have a plant in Arnsberg in Germany where most of these hood fans are essentially handcrafted. A lot of the metal bends and edges are seamless in the design. The glass is really high quality, non-distortion glass that we're using. And so all the components layered on with the amount of craftsmanship that goes into each and every one of our hoods They are not afterthoughts. And certainly when it comes to living with your dream kitchen, you want to be able to effectively control the environment you're living in. And so these hood fans do an amazing job of making sure that conditions are ideal.
So thanks, Mike, for that in this session this afternoon. I think as many of you continue to spend more time at home right now, obviously are doing lots of cooking. We've heard from many of you. Definitely something to think about going forward as you design your next kitchen. But definitely information that we're happy to share with you. So many of you who have joined us also have questions about what services we're currently offering right now. So we want to make sure, again, through sessions like Miele Live, we're here to continue to serve you, our customers. In addition to that, we have the Miele shop that's available 24/7 on miele.ca. We are delivering to your door. If you're also deciding to purchase an appliance with us right now, whether it's a dishwasher, a laundry, whatever that appliance is, we want to let you know that Miele delivery service, Miele installation service, so these are our own services, are operating nationally right now. We obviously have modified our processes to ensure the safety of you, our customers, but also our employees as well. To learn more about that, visit miele.ca. You can see all the details there. Our technical service department, as well as our customer service department, continue to remain open. Again, with the technical service side, if they need to visit your home, we're unable to resolve your issue over the phone, which a lot of times we actually can. Our Miele certified factory technicians have revised guidelines on home visits. Again, just make sure that you visit miele.ca to find out the exact details of that. We have Miele Live going on right now. We also have a personal product telephone consultation that we've started, where if you are interested in purchasing a new product but have a couple of questions, or have an existing product and also have a couple of questions, you can actually get and book an appointment with one of our product experts, where they can actually personalize that experience for you and provide specific answers to you. You can book that appointment on miele.ca as well. Be sure to tune in to upcoming Miele Live sessions. Mike will be back covering a variety of other topics as well. We have some live cooking demonstrations continuing, and we really want you to participate in those. At 5 o'clock today, we are doing a demonstration session on how to properly utilize our roast probe in the Miele oven. So if you're interested in that, be sure to tune in. And if you have suggestions on other topics you want us to actually cover Miele Live, again, be sure to send those through to us. And very lastly as well, on miele.ca, we have kind of the perfect gift right now, as we're still all at home, but we still need to celebrate, whether it's birthdays, anniversaries. A perfect gift to share with friends and family is the Miele e-gift card. You can actually do that online. It'd be sent to the person you're giving it to, and it allows them to buy anything on the Miele shop at any point in time. So we want to thank you for joining us today on behalf of Mike, myself, the Miele team. But very lastly, we want to send a very big thank you to all the frontline workers that are out there every day right now, serving our community throughout Canada, whether it's making sure medical services are provided to those that need it, keeping the grocery stores, keeping public transportation, allowing us to remain safe, healthy, fed, keeping our families safe. So we want to send a big thank you to all of you and your bravery out there right now. So thank you again for joining us. Hopefully you'll join us at 5 o'clock for our last session today on Miele Live. We'll be back Friday. So again, be sure to click subscribe on your YouTube account, activate your notification to get the latest updates on new videos and also when we will be broadcasting live. And we look to see you again on Miele Live. Thank you very much and have a great afternoon.